let me start out first by thanking everybody for their time today, and of course my brothers and sisters in all the unions that are here. Hopeful that this wage freeze will finally get lifted, this burden that's been on their back for so long and has caused quite a bit of harm to many families here in Nassau County. So I would like to first thank my fellow union leaders here and all the union members here and everybody that came down, including the legislature. Obviously, at this time, I'm not going to be reading off my notes. I just want to remind everybody here that I think it's important because sometimes we get lost in the moment. We have to remember here that all our unions signed agreements, and I'm going to speak about the CSEA, in 2008. And in 2008, we voluntarily negotiated a 0% raise. And then we got a raise in 2009 and 2010, together which equals a 7.30% raise. And that is what we've had since 2007 until 2014. A 7.3% raise. While that's been going on, we've had families and members stuck at $21,000, $23,000, $25,000 a year. We've had many horror stories that you've already heard, and I know you're sympathetic to both sides, and I thank you for that. And I think that's one of the reasons why we're here at the podium. But what the public needs to understand is what's dangerous about a lot of this and gets lost in a moment is we actually are in a contract. And although a vast majority of our members in CSEA voted to modify that contract, they did not do it because they thought it was a good deal. They did not do it because they thought they were making out. They did it because of survival. They did it because our contract was taken away. And that's a dangerous precedent for everybody here to remember. This is a dangerous thing to do. Don't be fooled by those that say you're paid by taxpayer dollars. Therefore, we can freeze your contract, but your contract doesn't count. Remember the $700 billion bailout we gave to the banks not that long ago? That was paid for by taxpayer dollars. And what would happen if 5 years from now that same bailout was needed, but this time the federal government said, we don't have $1 trillion. Instead, we'll allow for 5 years the banks to add 2 points to everyone's mortgage because we need the banks to stay healthy for the betterment of our country and for the national security. There's not a difference between that and what's going on in this county for the last 3 years. No difference. People would say that's insane, it's absurd. That's what we said 3 years ago when they said they were going to take our contract away. But I want to thank you because you now have a greater picture and you were able to really understand the suffering and the pain. And the fact that I just said to you, a 7% raise in 7 years, it comes to 1.04% for the CSEA. And I actually think it's pretty similar for the police unions. So I'm going to end because it's late. I'm going to say thank you so much, and I urge you all to vote yes in the affirmative for all the unions here in Nassau County that have worked so hard to try to get out of this wage freeze. And let's work together as a team for a bigger, better, brighter Nassau County together. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for giving us an opportunity to speak in front of you. As everybody knows, all the union leaders that stand with me have worked tirelessly over the last 3 years to try to end the wage freeze. We've come close a few times, only to be rebuffed. This time, however, NIFR was a willing partner and sat down with us, and they have outlined a plan designed to lift the wage freeze. Not to end the control period, but to end the wage freeze going forward. The employees of this county have been the brunt of this fiscal crisis, so to speak, for the last 3 years. And to keep on going forward is not fair to any worker. They have families that they have they have to feed. We talk about the CSEA members, police officers start off at $34,000 a year. What kind of guys you're going to get coming on this job that want to take $34,000 a year, strap on a gun belt, put on a bulletproof vest, and they're going to get a call, man with a gun, shots fired, so on and so forth, or really the stuff that we deal with every day, baby not breathing. What happens if we're not here? I've talked about this many times. We have a department that was 2,700 strong in 2009. We now have a department under 2,200. And I heard the commissioner discuss before about how many people can retire. Out of that 2,200, it's over 1,300 members can retire right now. There's a significant amount of them who have 25 plus years. As the commissioner stated, many leave with 22 years to 26 years on the job. We are in a crisis situation. NIFR has admitted with their plan that there has to be revenue from the county. And I think they've talked about this revenue of $129 million over a 4-year period. Roughly $30 million a year, a little bit over that. Let's say the cameras come in at 10. You're talking about $20 million difference. That's an investment in this workforce that has been made in a long time. And each and every one of you up there right now owe it to us to sit there and make that investment in the hard-working employees of this county who have sat here for 3 years without getting raises, without getting steps, without being able to hire police officers because you have an expiring list. This is an investment in each and every single one of us. And anybody who doesn't vote yes is saying that we're not worth that investment. And that's disgraceful, to be honest with you. We work too hard, and everybody is. Look deep inside yourselves. You got to look at your conscience, and you got to vote your conscience. You don't vote political lines and the nonsense. There's a lot of politics that can be played later on. Do not play politics with my members' lives, with the CSEA member lives, with the correctional officer lives, with none of us. Do not do that. Vote yes, and let's move on, and let's all work together to try to solve the other 20 million or whatever we have to do. Thank you very much.
Nothing. We kept it going all afternoon, let's continue to keep it. All right?
Thank you, Judy.
Mr. Sutton.
Thank you. You know, Jimmy brought up a lot of good points, but I want to bring up a different point. 4 or 5 years ago, when I got involved in the union, we had over 440, 450 detectives. Now we're down to less than 320. All right? Now you take an average 6-squad detective. A few years back, he was averaging 200 cases a year. Today, that same detective, merged with the 3rd squad, is carrying over 400 cases a year. But just picture this with your family. Just picture your personal life. If you had to do work, and you said, all right, we have to paint our house. Everybody roll up your sleeves, we're all going to do this, and everybody does it. Because that's how we do it as human beings. That's what all these cops, detectives, and supervisors have been doing for the last 4 years. They come to a point where they're exhausted, and they just can't keep it going. Commissioner Crumpton mentioned crime is at its all-time low, and that everybody here should be applauded for that. I would like everyone to applaud. How much longer can these guys keep this up? How much longer can the detectives keep it up? Right from the first of this year, we've lost about approximately 5% of our detectives. There's about another 5% coming in the second quarter. Most people retire by the end of the year. Where are we going to be? There are no more detectives to come forward. They testified to that. We have nobody to come forward. We have nobody. If we don't hire, there's nobody that could even come forward. This is now boiling down to public safety. The detectives that are there are worn out. They're doing their best. They're carrying twice as many cases. They can't keep it up. So what do? They're exhausted. They've made a ton of overtime. They say, it's time for me to leave. I just can't keep this pace anymore. They're going to be gone. There'll be nobody to replace them. There'll be nobody there to solve crimes. A vote, anything but yes, is a vote against public safety. Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity to allow us to speak, not to repeat everything that everybody has said, because you all know how we all feel. I just like to say this. I know you're all reasonable people up there. And let's face facts, over the last 3 years, the county has saved $250 million on these pay freezes. So the county has benefited quite a bit from it. We have all stepped up. We have all made major concessions to get this deal done. And we just really hope that you think hard and deep about this, because I know there's been some discussion about perhaps not all of you voting for it or anything like that. I think anything but a unanimous vote sends the wrong message to NYFA. And I think NYFA has to believe that the county unions did everything possible, and that the legislature recognizes that, and that you understand that it's time to move forward. It is going to be soon the longest pay freeze in New York State history, and it just can't happen to go on forever. It's not fair to the employees, it's not fair to anybody. And I know you all recognize that. I know you all in your hearts believe that it's time to end that. And I want you to vote your conscience, because you know, we've had differences of opinions with the Republicans about the pay freeze and with the Democrats. It's not politics anymore, it's about people's lives. And I really think you have a severely understaffed police department, sheriff's department, CSEA. You have workers that are completely demoralized over this whole issue of the pay freeze. And I think you really owe it to them. We all had contracts in place. We all stepped up to the plate, as we have done in the past, and made major concessions for the county to move forward. And I think it's incumbent on all of you to give us a unanimous vote on this and allow us all to move forward so we can get out of this. Thank you very much.
Good evening, everybody. I know it's been a very long day for all of you, as it has been for us, so I'll keep my comments very brief. I can get into how my membership's now 200 members, and I have members growing to 30,000 for over 4 years now. That's an argument for another day. I'm just here to say that I'm standing here with my brothers and sisters in the PBA, in the Detective Association, superior officers, and the CSEA. Even though COVID does not have a deal yet, we have made significant progress, and the reality is we could be done in a day or two. You know, we're trying to reduce it to contract language. We have agreed on the parameters of a tentative deal. We are confident that, at least on our end, we're going to be able to get this done. So it is a step in the right direction. I do believe the deals that are before you now should be voted on and supported. And I'm sure my brothers and sisters in these unions will be supporting me when my deal comes forward before the election. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you, Madam Presiding Officer. For those who don't know me, my name is John Duriso, and I am the president of the Long Island Federation of Labor, which is the 4th largest labor federation in these United States, representing 250,000 members here in Nassau and Suffolk County. And we stand shoulder to shoulder with each and every one of these great labor leaders who make the quality of our lives that much better. Each and every one of you, and each and every one of us here that live in Nassau County owe a debt of gratitude to these police officers, the CSEA, all of the law enforcement people, to protect us, to give us the quality of life that we so deserve. This county has been in a problem. We all recognize that, but they and their members have worked night and day to make this county better, to keep us safe, and to keep us together as a county. And I tell you now that the Federation, each and every one of our members of our executive board, have voted to stay with them. We're going to support them, and we are going to hold people accountable who do not stand with labor. Thank you.